Here's a simple Impressionist style painting. I'll start with the sky and I'll put white in the upper left hand part of the sky. I'm just going to have a blue sky. I take a little bit of blue that's dark from the tube, but when I put it on top of the wet white, it mixes on the paper, and that's what I want. I want it to mix on paper. As I've said before, Impressionist paintings weren't smooth. They didn't try to blend them or paint like they were painting a wall. They would just let their brush strokes show, and they were really concerned with light and color. They didn't try to do smooth things or details or anything like that. It's a really nice way to paint. A lot of people can do it even though they're not trained artists. They can do this kind of painting and feel good about what they do. So anyway, I want my sky to get a little bit lighter and lighter as it gets down toward the hills. And so I'm mixing it that way. I'm putting more white as I get down toward the hills. And I'll be working some blue into it too, as you'll see. I'm not really bothering to clean my brush because it's just all white and blue that's on there, and that's what I want to use. So here's a little bit more blue, and I work it in and work it down toward the white, and it gets lighter and lighter because there's more and more white compared to the blue. Now for the green hills, you know that yellow and blue make green, and it's best to start with a lighter color, so I'm putting yellow on right now. Then a little bit of blue on my brush and working it into the wet yellow. And you see how it makes different kinds of green. And that's actually more realistic than if I just had one green from the tube and I just had the same green. Because when you look at grass and things like that, you see different greens because of the way the light plays off of it. I'll try to have darker greens on the hills that are behind and lighter greens on the hills that are coming forward. You can see how the hills overlap, and that helps give me some distance in my painting. Okay, more yellow, although I still had blue on my brush, so you know it's mixing into some greens too, which is fine. If you're wondering, I increased the speed of this with iMovie, so it's twice the speed that I'm actually painting. And you can see I'm putting some white into there too, and I'm letting that mix into the wet green and yellow and blue, and making it lighter as it comes forward. So it's just a matter of putting down strokes of yellow paint and then working into it with blue, and just adjusting the variety of greens and yellow greens or blue greens that I have as I go along. I decided I'm going to put some water down here, like these hills are on the edge of a lake. So I'm just going to draw the water line real quick. And now I'm going to start painting the water. When you paint with water, it works best if you make your strokes horizontal. Keep them, short strokes, but make them horizontal because that gives the feeling of the surface of the water. So I put down white, and now I got a little bit of blue on my brush, a little bit of white, and I just keep working back and forth between those colors for a while. And it's kind of a small painting I'm doing, so you might end up like just doing a section of water at a time so your paint doesn't dry. You see I'm taking some blue and I'm just painting it right into the wet white, and just a little bit of blue, and in places I'm making it darker, and always keeping my strokes horizontal. The water always reflects the colors that are around it, and so this is the color of the sky, but now I'm going to put in some of the color of the hills too. Got just a little bit of yellow on my brush, and I'm touching it in with some little lines of yellow and letting the yellow mix with the rest of it. And so it'll give the appearance of a reflection from these hills, but it'll still have the shimmery appearance of water, which is what I'm going for. Now I'm just going to go back at the shoreline and dab in some yellow and green. And I'll just finish up the grass there. Well, as you can see, I painted a couple of little pine trees, and now I'm going to put the one that's in the foreground and let you watch me paint that one. I'm just starting with a vertical line that just represents the trunk. It's going to be pretty much covered up, but it'll give me kind of a base to build a tree on. And then I'll start with diagonal lines coming out from the trunk, pointing down, and as I move toward the bottom of the tree, these lines are going to get longer and longer. Just like pine trees, their longer branches are at the bottom and their smaller ones are at the top. And this will give me a basis for building my branches. So basically what I have right now is a skeleton tree. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit of yellow and blue on my brush at the same time. And I'm going to make little strokes around the little line that I drew, or that I painted. And I'm going to keep doing this while I'm painting this tree. Take a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue on my brush at the same time, and then just let them mix into green as I apply them. It'll give me quite a few different colors of green, which is really nice. So these little diagonal lines, they come out from the little skeleton branch that I made. It's also a diagonal line. So it's almost like I'm making little skeleton trees, just like I made the skeleton for the big tree I'm making, or something like that. Okay, now I'll speed this up about twice my actual speed, and I'll just continue working my way down the tree. I decided I wanted the green to contrast a little bit more with the hill behind it, so I put some more blue in and made it darker. And I'm just going to keep working my way down. And, you know, I'm going to cover up the trunk some. I mean, it doesn't really need to show that much. It just made me a basic basis for my tree. And I'll paint darker under the tree, because it would be darker under the tree. And let's see, I paint the shadow by getting some mostly blue on my brush, although I've got a little yellow too, I think, because it's more greenish, to paint the shadow. And then I'll go back under the tree and add brown, and then add blue, and then more brown to get that dark color under the tree. Now I'm going to paint the tree's reflection. I'll take some of the same color that's in the tree, and I'll work it in with the blues and whites in the water, and I'll just do it all in little short horizontal lines. That'll give more of the effect of the movement of the water.